Ima. Hiyo pajeo. Plado hii.
Is Angapa
education tour? So we'll start there. Okay, with the education.
Oh no, but take picture and then.
Sondela uye da. Medu uye da.
Yeah. Come on.
Join us.
Okay.
Please, don't move. Let the president move.
Huh? Mama, we
Mheshimiwa, habari yako? Nzuri.
Kimberley connection.
Naongea vizuri Kiswahili. Nashukuru sana mheshimiwa. Umesomesha vizuri. Okay. Yes, I'm doing the narration. Honorable President?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, my brother. It is, sir. Honorable President, my name is Opa Makachi. Nice to meet you finally in Mazimbu.
Yes.
We're here at the cemetery. This cemetery was actually when they started in the building phases of Somafco. There was a point where they came to have kind of decide what it is that they wanted. There's Ubaba Obizwa Uchohanis Pungula, and his pseudonym Lane Mazimbu, it was past 4. Now, we'd always used to ask ourselves as kids, why Bambizu past 4? And the reason we got was that every time Ubaba past 4, when they asked him for Ubani's card, he just at the side and say, who passed 4? Who passed 4? Every time. Any time of the day, whether it was morning or in the afternoon, he would say who passed 4. So then his pseudonym became Pasfor. But his real name is Uba Johannes Pungula from Ikopo region in KwaZulu-Natal. And Uba Pungula he wasn't educated. And what they did was when they were busy designing this, the whole institution, they came to the part of the cemetery. And what they did was they took 3 different designs, some coming from the engineers and the architects, and then Uba Pungula. And they put it through a competition, and in that competition, Uba Pungula's designs were the ones that were accepted. And this is what we are seeing now. The stones that you see around here, these stones were taken from the foot of these mountains, the Uluguru Mountains. The Uluguru Mountains, that's where they were taken. Now, when you look at this map of Africa and the shield of the ANC, there are 4 holes they're sitting. That's where the coffin would sit. This was the chapel. Oh. Yes, sir. And then there are 4 holes there. That's where the coffin would sit, and it would be obviously on top of the shield of the ANC. And the people would stand there and they'd be addressed. After services held, they'd be taken to the cemetery where they would be buried. Okay. And as I said, all those stones were picked from around the surrounding areas here.
So what did he design?
He designed the entire cemetery. That is the chapel.
This chapel?
This chapel here.
He
designed it. He also designed the cemetery, the graves.
Okay.
He also designed how they yes.
So, Mr. President, the cemetery is in 2 sections. The older people are here and the people are there. What you will see on the plaques is that there's a period in which malaria had took a serious toll on the community because we're not acclimatized to the kind of weather and we're not malaria tolerant. Yeah.
Can I just...
That's the last one of the grave, Mr. President and the Prime Minister. What he has explained on Pasfor, you'll recall, President, the first conference that elected you as the Secretary General of the African National Congress in Durban, there was a mention of Pasfor. As youngsters, we didn't know who Pasfor was. And when they explained it, that it was Pasfor, and when we came here, we found his work that he did. And wonderful, with no resources, just bare hands, doing what he did. Just on the grave side, there are 97 graves. And those graves have been declared heritage sites. We declared them as heritage sites. You'll see there's a signage. That signage is stands for South African Heritage Resource Agency. So they've been declared in terms of South African heritage legislation, and all of them, 97, preserved. The only danger, of course, is the river, which the principal of the school has been concerned, that if that river flows, then overflow the river, there's a possibility that it can damage the graves. This is something that we have got to prevail on. That disaster or act of God must not happen. And lastly, you will see there's an open grave. That grave, the family actually took it. Now, these are some of the things that in the repatriation, because there's a procedure for repatriation. Families cannot just walk in and excavate or remove the graves. But this is what has happened. And lastly, President, what you said inside, we're now with the Somafco Trust to ensure that the people-to-people relations are strengthened. Schools, film, and many other things. Thanks so much.
As we walk out here, we start seeing the graves. But another symbolic gesture that we did when we came here was the planting of trees in this area. You'll see there are some trees. Some were planted by those who had never been here before. But then it also sets, they leave a trace of them being here, but then of them accepting the history that we have between South Africa and Tanzania. And these are the grave sites that you will find here. This is for the elderly. And if you're looking, you can see here's the signage of the headstones. So, resource. Yes, sir. It is a young child, sir. And the cause of death here was malaria related.
Okay.
So this is Eli Weinberg. He's most famous for the Rivonia trial picture, where you see all the Rivonia trialists, Mandela, Walter Sisulu, all of them standing on a, what do you call that thing, Mr. President? Standing all together, taking a picture before they got...
Weinberg took it. He was a photographer.
Yes. So where we are from, the construction center, he set up a video and photography lab.
These two grave sites that you see, they were exhumed by their family members. I was fortunate, well, I wouldn't say fortunate, but I was here during the period that one of the graves was being removed. I was having a discussion with the director in preparation for one of the tours that we were going to do. And we got one of the securities come up to us and tell us there's someone exhuming there, which is what Advocate Mangocho was explaining. So when we came here, we found now, because that's where I had to come in, where we'd now start dealing with the language issue, and then I'd had to interpret. This is Umushala, it's Mamudupi Mushala's brother, and she had come here to exhume her brother, whom they had left here. Thank you, Papa. Okay. Oh, Mama. Okay. Okay. Mami, to Mami. Thank you. Thank you.
Justice to come. So they must know that actually something happened, which is educational. Yes. Singer? Okay.
Here.
Can you get it? Sorry, I'm sorry. We were here earlier this year in April, and we discovered that there's a Mahashule who is related to the current SG of the ANC. I met him subsequent to the trip. I showed him the photo. And it turns out that all of this time, he also didn't know where his cousin or his brother was. And his daughter, who is here with us, also did not know. So this trip marks a moment of closure for them as a family, because now they've discovered where their father lies. Because all these years, they've not known where their father is, whether Zambia, Angola, but it turns out that their father lies here. Yeah.
Very well. Thank you, President. It's a great honor.
Can you explain the President how you feel that you are here?
My name is Morwadi Mamalanga Cholota, the daughter to the late Ndadesifularo Isaac Mahashule. It is a great honor being here because I was told that after I was born, a few months after I was born, my dad came here, and that was when my mother saw him. So I heard that he passed away, he got ill, he got malaria, and he passed on. So I never got a chance to to come and see where he was laid. So this is my first time here, and it's a great honor. I can't explain how I feel because it has been my dream for 32 years old. I'm 32 as we speak. I don't know how to explain how I feel, but yeah, this is what we've been. Yes, that.
I think also in the National Heritage Council, President, we are offering the family with some spiritual guidance as they go back home on this. And indeed, it is a very, say, painful spiritual journey. Most probably, she was actually 3 years when this actually happened. And now, going back, and there's this spiritual journey of discovery of their father. I think this was the last one. That's right. Okay, thanks so much. Then, okay. Okay. They're going to Mbataz now. That one. Oh.
Yes, I know.
Thanks so much. Can you listen to the explanation?
One of the leaders of the Black Consciousness movement at home was George Wokop. We went to school with him at Skanontwana. Here lies one of the nieces. In the fight between UDF and Azapo, their house was burned and the children were taken out from home and they came here to Somavco. And she died because physically she was not strong. She was sent to school to Cuba, but she had to return to Mazimbu and she died and she's buried here and her son is buried on the other side.
I think this was the last one, Mr. President. Our dignitaries will be ushered towards direction. This was on the way out of the cemetery. And of course, Mr. President, there's also this South African family that you mentioned that we'll see from outside who are here.
Mr. President, ask you to. Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. That way. No, bafuna ngene so.
Oh, this is where we plant a tree.
Yeah. So what we've done every year, Mr. President, when we've had some special guests, you're a super special guest, is that we've planted a tree in honor of the fallen heroes. You can expect yours to also grow as this tall that was planted by former President Mutlante. This one. Yeah. 2012. You can have a look just afterwards. Yeah.
Goes quickly.
Yeah, they do.
Excelsior.
I need to find out now.
This is wonderful.
Yeah. You're a farmer.
The farmer. I want to say something in this family. The Muslim family. Leila.
Yeah.
This one.
Bazo 100 man, 130.
Yeah. It's about this actually. That's all.
You see how rich the soil is.
Exactly. Our land, soil is fertile. You add more.
He's passionate about farming, eh? He's passionate in farming, eh? Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Copy. Mr. President, just a small message from Mukopi. He used to be one of the workers. Yeah. One of the. Okay.
What?
Can you have the mic?
Hold on.
Can everybody move this side so that the president will say something to the community here? So can you just clear this side with your respect as the president, just a few words to the and the prime minister this side, and can we have the leader of the one who was here for the South African connection here, and the premier, Premier of Northern Cape, come this side. Dr. Saul, can you observe this moment as the President is going to say those few words of appreciation to the community that kept the ANC here?
Thank you very much, Advocate, Prime Minister, ministers who are here with us, the Premier of the Northern Cape. Can we just, for just 1 minute, observe a moment of silence for the people who died here in Morogoro, and for those who we have come, whose graves we have come to visit, the South Africans who lie interred here. Just a minute of silence. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister and the people of Morogoro, the Commissioner and the Mayor, and all the other officials who have been given the responsibility to run this place, as well as the Vice Chancellor of the university and other administrators, for giving us this rare opportunity of being able to visit this place. I'd also like to thank the leadership of CCM for also according themselves time to be here with us. This for us is a very moving moment. I spoke about this moment for us as I was at the ceremony, but this is the most moving part. Part because in many ways we are going down memory lane. It evokes a sense of sadness because here lies the people who left South Africa, were either born here or left South Africa to come and contribute to the liberation of our people in South Africa. And when they came here, they interacted and intermingled with Tanzanians who welcomed them with both arms and warm arms for that matter. And you, the people of Morogoro, made sure that the lives of South Africans who were here became a lot easier, a lot freer, and we'd like to thank you for all the support that you gave our people who were here and those who also died here. We thank you again for letting them rest in your soil, for letting them rest in your bosom, because you are acting out what we Africans do. We welcome each other, we love each other, we bury each other even. And we'd like to thank you for that. Your support has gone beyond just being political. It's a human support that you have given to the people who lie here. I'd like to thank the government, therefore, for also having made the land available, but also for continuing to look after the remains of our fallen heroes. I'd like to thank CCM, the party of the people of Tanzania. Your solidarity with us knows no bounds. You extended your open arms to support us, and you continue to support us. The ANC is what it is today because you gave it support, you gave it refuge, you gave it strength, and you even gave it inspiration. Today, as we are governing South Africa, we are enormously inspired by what the CCM is, what you continue to stand for. You are a shining light in the political realm on the African continent as a party of principle, a party of revolution, party of progress, and a party that has always aspired to see a united Africa. We thank you for that and we honor you for that. And we doing everything to follow in your footsteps as a governing party of the Republic of South Africa. As I said and as I conclude, we have come home. This to us means this is real home. It's both a political home, organizational home, ideological home, social home. This is our home. And we thank you very much for what you have always meant to us as the African National Congress. We will continue to be in solidarity with you through thick and thin, forever and ever. CCM and the ANC will always be sister parties that are united, that work together. Thank you very much.
Long live Chama Chambuzi, long live. Long live Chama, long live. Long live African National Congress, long live.
Long live Julius Malemu Nyerere, long live. Long live. Long live Nelson Mandela, long live. Long live. Amanda. Over to you, Chulu, if you want to say something, but the President is taken. Thanks so much, President. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
CCM oye!
Aje, mwambie aje. Mwambie aje.
Kumbana jamani, ngazi na viongozi huko.
So that we can address this problem properly. So address this problem. Yeah. Thank you, President. Thank you. Thank you, President. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Minister.